Hello and welcome to our newest episode of the CATIA Design Talks. My name is Honorata Frings, and today we will show you how you can empower your design process with CATIA V5 and Power BI. Even when you use CATIA V5, you have all the possibilities to use the power of the 3D Experience platform to improve many workflows, such as usage of VR for rendering, product perception experience, reducing weight, redesign, interactive GI rendering, to name just a few. To show you some of the opportunities of these solutions, I have invited two guests. Let me introduce Daniel DRESEMANN and Michael Reiter, both product managers at Dassault System. Welcome, gents.
Hi, Honorata.
Hi, Honorata. Good morning.
Morning. So can you explain us what Power BI is exactly?
Yes, I can do this, Honorata. Powered by enables our CATIA V5 user base to use the 3D Experience platform or collaborate with the 3D Experience platform. So those experts are still used to V5 and they can still work on V5, but other departments can use the 3D Experience tools and enhance the product and do more things on the 3D Experience platform. Um, and they can add new components to the design, while the V5 parts are still editable in the CATIA V5. But the best thing to illustrate that is to show you that with a live example.
Yes,
So for
please
that,
go ahead. That's great.
I have opened CATIA V5 and I can create here a simple product just to show you the principle of that. So here I'm drawing a short sketch for my pet I want to do, and then we go out of here and we have a small cube. This is going to be saved now into the 3D Experience platform, um, or let's say into the database of the 3D Experience platform. And now we can switch to Michi.
All right, so Daniel has stored his part. I'm refreshing my session to get the update. And then we see here, I have exactly the same design that Daniel has created. And I think it's important here to emphasize that this is not just an import of CATIA V5 data, but it's really a PLM connection. So I will always have an up-to-date view on the design that Daniel is creating. And now to illustrate the principle, first step I'm going to do is I'm assigning a material on this part, which in this case is provided through our content collection role, where we have a set of predefined high quality materials. So now I've added visualization information to that part. I will save that again in the PLM system. And now I'm handing back to Daniel, who will modify the part again.
Exactly. So we do it just a simple change. We can change the direction, or let's whatever do decrease the size of the product itself. So now you can see that it is changed. I will save that again into the database, and we can see the changes in 3D Experience Live on Michi's screen.
Okay, so I'll refresh again to get the newest status of the part. We see the geometry is updated and the additional visualization information that I've added earlier is still available.
Really cool. Thanks for the short live presentation. So what are the values of Power BI in comparison to CATIA V5 only?
So CATIA Power BI enables you to get the best of both worlds, basically. So if you have a team that's very familiar with the V5 tools and is very fast in working there, they can continue in the environment that they know. And then you can have other departments or other specialists who want to work on visualization, virtual reality reviews and things like that. And they will then do their use cases using the 3D Experience applications. In addition to that, you get swim communities for social collaboration. You get tools for whiteboarding, for collecting notes. You have the lifecycle management of your parts. All that is handled through the 3D Experience roles. So basically, you define your environment with what you need through the roles that you get for 3D experience. And Power BI ensures that you have the connectivity between both worlds.
Cool. Let's highlight the visualization and VR possibilities a little bit. So, sorry, I lost my track. So, can you explain us and show us a little bit what are the benefits switching between CATIA V5 to the 3D Experience platform in order to get a better visualization and VR?
Yes, sure. So we've prepared a video outlining that here. So in our case, we picked this motorcycle concept as our sample data. And this video will walk us through the initial import of the data into the PLM system through Power BI. Then I will start to assign materials, and then in the end, we'll have a first glimpse at our VR capabilities. So yes, here the data was stored. We now have it accessible in our web applications to manage it. And now I'm loading that data in CATIA Live Rendering, where I start to assign materials. Mainly those are taken from our content collection, so this enables users who are not specialists to get started.
Can
And
you
we do
tell us briefly why this bike is green here?
Yeah, sure. So this is just well, a workflow trick, I would say, to allow me to very easily see which parts still need materials applied on them. So everything that has no proper material applied yet will be shown in green in this case, and then it allows me to quickly see if I have missed some parts or not.
Very well. Okay,
Um,
thanks.
so that helps me to not forget anything, basically.
Yeah.
Um, so here I'm adding a couple of materials. We do support substance materials, so these are parametric materials. And we also support AXF scanned materials to give you the most realistic replication of an actual real life material while you do your visualization. And now we're jumping into VR. So as I said earlier, this is just the first glimpse into what we can do. So this video shows a couple of generic VR features we provide in all of the 3D applications on 3D Experience. So regardless if you're doing material workflows or if you're doing design work, you always have access to a VR command without doing any data preparation to immediately get a one-on-one scale stereoscopic view of your product. And here we see a couple of those generic features like measurements, hide and show parts to better understand your assembly structure, and things like that. So this is what every 3D experience user with the VR role can use. And later during the talk, we will also look at more specific VR workflows and other apps. And here in the end, we see a first preview of the global illumination renderings that we can also create, but there's more to come on that.
Yes, we will mention that later. Before I ask the next question, to all our audience, please feel free to ask questions in the chat. We will collect them and answer them at the end, so nothing gets lost. So just put them there and we will go one by one at the end of the talk. Before that, VR and visualization capabilities are not the only benefit of the 3D Experience platform. When you're trying to redesign a whole product or just a part, you can collaborate here as well. Can you show us an example to highlight this?
Yes, Honorata, this is something we can show. And for that, we have to state that for that we need to go back to CATIA V5, as this is the main environment for all our users to do design changes. And we are also using our swim capabilities, our 3D Experience swim communities and capabilities, like here the dashboard Michi mentioned already, and to collaborate with each other. So basically, Michi is sketching here a new design and says, okay, let's change the design. He wants to change something because he have seen something in the 3D experience with the visualization, which haven't looked very nice and very good. So he's informing me in this case, and I can see these things, and now I can do my changes in the CATIA V5. As you can see, I'm preparing here. I've imported two light guides. I'm doing my changes in V5, and yeah, we can. The user who is used to V5 don't need to learn new things. He can do everything. He's still as fast as he is before, and the collaborative. Yeah, the collaborative work between him and the 3D experience user is great. After he is finished, or almost finished, you can already see that in V5 the visualization context is still is definitely missing. So everything he sees is without visualization. Especially if we're talking about lamps, or in this case the cases on top of the lamp of the light guides, you cannot see the full benefit of it. So in this case, I'm informing me here again that the redesign is finished, and he can use these information and put them into the visualization context again. So again, we are using the 3D Experience swim community. He sees that and adds some visualization to this, to the new products. And already you can see it looks much more realistic, and you can see with global illumination, we already also see yeah, how the lights simulates and behaves when there's a lit situation.
Right. And in this case, it's a bit blurry. So now then you have changed the lights again, and they look too heavy. So talking about lightweight, I know we have several possibilities on the platform to lighten our designs. Is this the same with V5 data? Can you do it on the platform with the V5 data as well?
Yes, we can do that on the 3D Experience platform as well. We cannot do that in V5, so therefore we can use again the benefit of the 3D Experience platform. So everything is integrated. We are using the V5 data, creating a copy out of it, and now we are using our application CATIA Functional Generative Design. This is exactly made for weight reductions, like you mentioned it, Honorata. So the user is creating a design space, meaning that design space has to be met, and this is the fixed design space, which requirements needs to be meet that still fulfills the requirements of the product itself. Furthermore, the user needs to apply the forces on the model and the load cases, of course. And then he can run and validate the status of the stresses, the displacements, and everything like that. So these are our entry point for the simulation in this case. So those those stresses and displacements has to be the same or very similar to that what the simulation now is providing. A weight reduced model, and we can see that now because we are creating now a first concept of this, and we see here a very cool first new kind of a shape with 20% less of weight.
Very organic.
Exactly. I'm doing a few more here in the next few things, and now we are validating here the stresses I mentioned before. It looks very similar. The stresses is a little bit more distributed. It's not that pointed on one point. Yeah, now we have 3 different designs we've simulated.
Right. Now we have these 3 different designs, and we want to see how they would look on the motorbike. So what is the next step to do so?
Exactly. Yeah. First of all, before we can visualize all 3 of them, of course. in terms of validation, the user now, this special user here who's doing the weight reduction, is choosing one of the products, and if he chooses one, in this case the shape validation 2 here, he's deciding to remodel this on subdivision surfaces. So for that, we are going into the following video, and we are having a look on the 15% model here. And the user can use a couple of modeling features from CATIA. In this case, we are using Imagine and Shape. Imagine and Shape is creating a subdivision model. And as you can see, of course, this is a little bit fast forwarded, the video here. It is very, very fast and very intuitive to work on. Even to redefine the model, as you can see here, making sharp edges or something like that is very easily doable. With Natural Sketch, the user can switch to another application and sketch his ideas, his design language on top of his modeling approach he just has done. So that in the end, the product is really meeting the requirements from the design and the specifications on the other side. And as you can see, Imagine Shape with subdivision modeling is very easy and fast modeling based on these edges and vertices, like you can see here.
Right. It's one part of our CATIA Creative Design and Styling solutions,
Exactly.
which you can use to very, very quickly create first designs. And then you have pretty well designed surfaces that you can adjust later with some other solutions. It's really great to have quick designs, build up quickly ideas on products.
That is correct, Honorata, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but now we have our models, and
Exactly.
we were talking about visualization. So how does it work? Can you show us how you're creating the visualizations, the VR products?
Yes, sure we can. So now the part has been modified through Imagine and Shape, and now I'm adding these new simulated parts to my review model. In this case, I'm using the product perception experience application. So, well, before we jump into that, I get a new notification from Daniel. Then I reply to that. Okay, I'll add your new parts to the presentation data set. And yeah, here again we have the bike that from earlier with a set of variants. So here we have a couple of defined viewpoints. We have a couple of different environments for lighting and for context. And on the bottom, we have variants of our 10%, 15%, and so on data. So this application is focused on helping to make efficient decisions by looking at design proposals, to create product packages, to do presentations of design concepts and things like that. And in contrast to the generic VR features we've seen earlier, we now here see a more specific VR implementation for this particular workflow, which allows me to very easily check those variants while I'm wearing my VR headset, and also directly within my presentation application. So I don't have to run the data through any converters. I don't have to do additional preparations. Whatever is in my data set can be used here. So now I've changed the environment to get different lighting, and I'm switching now also to the visualization model that we've prepared earlier. And here we see the new parts. They are already shown with the correct materials that they would be printed with in the end. And I can now very easily double check all of the different proposals, see how they integrate into the overall design, and then make a decision on either if it's a go, if it's a no-go, or if we need some further modifications for the design to work.
That's really great and very helpful. So you don't have to switch around solutions. And I think this is a great opportunity for CATIA V5 users. But in total, what if a CATIA V5 user decides to move to Power BI, what does he get? Oh, we can't hear you, Daniel.
That's not good. So now I think it's better, right?
Yes.
Yeah, wonderful. He gets he gets the connectivity between the 3D between V5 and the 3D experience. So he gets everything, tools like the communication tools we've showed on the 3D experience, swim communities, issue management, stuff like that, VR capabilities, as Michi just showed, high-end visualization rendering, GI rendering, and everything like that. With Power BI, you can really extend your capabilities on the 3D experience platform. And not only that, as Michi mentioned, we've packaged this into the different roles. So not everybody needs everything in the end. The user who wants to do visualization gets a visualization package. We call these roles, and the guy who's doing the weight reduction is getting his roles and stuff like that. So it's really distributed to the users in the end.
Right. Maybe that's something we need to point out, that a role, a Dassault system, is a role implements a number of apps that allow you to do several things, like mentioned, for surface refinement or lightweight reduction and so on. So you are purchasing a role, and within this role you get all these apps. That's something you need to understand, how the platform is working in total. Yeah, great.
Okay.
And finally, now that our product is finished, you have created a lovely bike. And now we would like to have some nice images, for presentation and maybe even marketing material. So maybe you can show us some of the nice pictures.
Yes, so in this last part here, we see our high-end rendering capabilities on 3D Experience. So before this part, we have always seen our rasterizer, so that's our real-time render engine. And here we're now switching to Stellar Photoreal, which is a global illumination renderer, which works on the same material definition that we've used earlier. And this allows us to really get photorealistic renderings for product validation. And this scales quite well, so it's fully GPU capable. What we see here in the video was recorded on a workstation with one NVIDIA A6000 GPU. But if you have more complex data or requirements of higher resolutions, you can run this on a machine with multiple GPUs, and you can even scale that on HPC environments with hundreds or thousands of instances to get faster render results. Here in the beginning, we see me doing some angle hunting to find interesting perspectives to create renderings from. So we see I'm mainly interacting with a quite reduced user interface that resembles a traditional DSLR camera. So I have direct access to the focal length, I have access to the aperture, I can do exposure compensation, and I can set the focal point very easily. And then I have the option to either store these views as a camera variant, so I can always recover them and create additional renderings, maybe with different product configurations, or I can directly render to a swim community for communication with my colleagues, or just render out images that I store on my hard disk and then send them to Photoshop or whatever.
And we get some really impressive pictures here. Yeah, thanks a lot. That was a great presentation to highlight some of the benefits of Power BI, I think. And I can tell you we have quite a lot of questions in the chat. So let me go to the first one, which would be customization of 3D experience. Is that the same as CATIA V5? That was the question from Deepak.
I'm not totally sure what is meant with that question, Deepak. If you're still online, could you clarify maybe?
Maybe you can clarify your question in the chat, and I will go on from here. So let's go to this one. Is there any feature in surface design and skin like drag the end portion, which is part design, we can do to limit? Can you get something out of that?
I assume that's when you do, for instance, a pad, you want to limit that automatically with another feature. So if that's the case, or if that's the question, then yes, you can do parametric modeling by assigning other features in your design as a limit.
Very well, thank you. Then we have standard library part readily available. So is standard part library available?
Again, I'm not exactly sure what is meant with it. I did mention earlier the library of materials. So if it's in that direction, this is not available by default. You have to have a specific role to get access to those materials. And then you're free to either just use them as they are or to modify them.
Right. And if you're talking about environment, maybe as well, that is standard?
There are a couple of environments that we provide by default. Then the application CATIA Live Rendering provides some additional ones. And again, the content collection has more than those that we ship by default. In addition to that, you can also use an HDRI file that you might have generated from a different software and just drop that into live rendering to use it.
Cool, thanks. Okay, then we have a question from Sarah, who's teaching CATIA V5 for 10 years now.
Oh.
I work on reverse engineering by CATIA. Could you explain about what update about that issue? If you understand the question, or maybe Sarah, you can explain it a little bit further.
Probably that would be nice if you can explain that a bit further, because reverse engineering is definitely possible in the 3D Experience platform. I know that it is that it was also possible on CATIA V5. So if there is any power by, of course, that would still work on that. So if the question goes in this direction.
Okay, let's move to the next one. Is the 3D experience limited to CATIA V5, or it can be used with other design softwares like SolidWorks? Very good question.
No, I know there's also a power by for SolidWorks available.
Yeah, and I think there's also additional connectors, but I don't have the full list now. But there's also connectivity with third-party tools as well.
Yeah. Okay, and then we have another one. And also, could you explain about Connect with ANSYS software? Is it possible to, do we have an interface or something?
That is something I don't know, but we can take the question and answer it later.
Yes, for sure, Sarah, you know the CATIA Creative Design and Styling community, where you can ask this question again, and Michael and Daniel can check and answer this question here as well. So it doesn't get lost. That's, by the way, for all of you who are watching, we have this community. You see the link below, and you can join the community. You can share your projects. You can ask questions and exchange with experts and peers. Okay. Next question is also from Sarah. Limit element by CATIA and what capability to update?
I think that this seems to be similar to the one of the first questions we had, I assume.
Maybe.
So again, you can assign other features to be a limit in your designs. And then since CATIA is fully parametric on V5 as well as on the 3D Experience platform, if you refresh your assembly, you will get the updated version if the limits have changed.
Yes, correct. Yeah, let me check on the community again if we have any more questions, but for now that's it, I think. Okay, so if you have any more questions, just feel free to type them in. Parametric modeling is there. Yes, parametric modeling is absolutely and totally there. Like with IMA, Imagine and Shape, for instance, which was shown before.
And maybe also X-generative design might be an interesting aspect here. We're not really the experts on that, but I don't know, maybe you've had another talk on that topic already, or maybe you're planning one, but that's definitely something to look
I have one. You can find the past talks in the wiki of the community, and there was a talk about X-generative design from January, where we discussed the Aurora project done by Arthur Mamumani and our design studio, and with a special focus on X-generative design. That was very interesting. So I'd like to invite you to check out this one as well. And of course, we have some web-based applications like X-Shape and Jens, please remind me the others, that you can use for very quick design.
On the go.
And you don't even have to install anything.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
on the fly. Okay, we have one more question. Can we check tension in sheet metal in bending parts and 3D experience?
I'm very sure, yeah, we can do this, as we have a dedicated application called Sheet Metal in the 3D Experience platform, so that should be absolutely available.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it is. Okay. I think that's it so far. I don't see any more questions coming up. But again, if you have any more, please join the community and you can put the question into the comment field of this talk. Okay, one last question, but then they're popping up again and again, even more and more. Composite part compatibility. Is it in both ways, CV5, 3DX, and so on?
Daniel, can you take that one?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about, so basically I know that we have some composite roles and applications. So basically that should be available in V5. So basically we have a 3D experience application for that, definitely. So if you have anything on V5, you can you should be able to upload your materials and composite materials via Powered by to the 3D Experience platform.
Yeah.
But I will double check that. So if you want, you can take that question also to the community, and I'll answer that again.
Yes. In any case, the Powered by is not only for design. We are just highlighting in this talk this very specific part for creative design, for VR, visualization, product experience. But of course, Powered by does also work for all the engineering parts of CATIA. So it's working the same. It just depends on the role that you have bought, and then you can do whatever you want. So it's the functionality is always the same, but you can of course use other solutions. So engineering is part of that as well, for sure.
That's
okay,
true.
what else? Can we do basic level CAE analysis? I have no clue. Do you know? Can you answer that?
Yes, so we can do this on the 3D Experience platform. We have a couple of tools from XR, and we have Xflow implemented in the 3D Experience partially, and then we can do basic things to a CAE analysis in there too.
Okay. Yes, so the Simulia brand offers plenty of analysis possibilities. They are all connected to the platform and can be used there. So again, depending on the role that you have.
Yeah, and I'm quite sure that the Simulia colleagues have stuff in their portfolio that can do a lot more than just basic level analysis.
Yeah, true.
Yes, they can basically do everything. So from liquids or gas or whatever you want, everything can be.
Electromagnetics.
Electromagnetics, I don't know, all kinds of stuff, lightweight or everything. Okay, so back to Sarah. So back to ANSYS. She means analysis by CATIA and also ANSYS software.
Again,
I think we need to take this one to the community, and Sarah, maybe you can go back there, put it together in one question, and then Michael and Daniel will answer that later.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So before we switch out, I would like to mention one more thing. I don't know if you have heard, we are going on the road. It basically starts next week in Coventry on Tuesday. We are going on tour with all the CATIA Creative Design and Styling solutions to bring it to you. For now, just in Europe, but let me show you how it's going to work. And I'm really, really looking forward to meet as many as possible of you, our CATIA users there, because we haven't met for a couple of years, and now it's time to reconnect. So thanks a lot. Thank you for your presentation, for your time, and I see you next month in the next talk. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.